In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to defeat the Corrupted Queen Sylvester. Now, you might not be familiar with this boss, but it's the boss before the final boss, and is one of the 3 bosses that will drop you legendary poem pages. With this, you can actually head over to the shop, at the exchange shop right here, at the Bard's Banquet, and you can purchase epic scrolls, you can purchase legendary scrolls, and of course, scroll your heroes. Now, I would suggest you from here to only purchase 1 epic scroll, scholar scroll, once a week, because the price doubles for the second one. I have no idea for the third one because I never got the second. And the legendary one takes quite a bit of time to refresh, but it's very expensive. It costs you 3,000 pages, guys. Okay, so you gotta make sure you have enough saved up. And in today's video, I'm gonna show you how to defeat this boss on the second difficulty and get the maximum amount of pages. Now, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you smash a like, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me a lot. And I'm doing daily guides on a Dragonheir. Maybe you've seen some of my videos before, but if no, definitely check out the channel. Tons of videos for you guys to digest. So let's head over to this. The boss itself is actually pretty difficult compared to the other ones. You only have 2 different difficulties, but I'm going to show you how to defeat it with no legendaries, okay? So we're not going to use any legendaries whatsoever in here. We have 2 rare champions, 3 epics, and yes, the second difficulty is a bit harder than the others, but if you're positioning your heroes right, if you're doing everything how you should, you're going to be able to defeat this. Now, I personally tend to manual this boss. I'm going to put up some potions in here. And I'm going to use a potion that will actually give me defense and accuracy. So we're going to go for the fish stew right here. And the reason why I'm positioning my heroes like this, guys, how you may notice, I don't have any on the back lines, is because this boss spawns different sort of minions, monsters, right? You have all sort of different things basically dropping at the back. And that can be a bit of an issue. So you have the Hotbed of Corruption, you have the Swarm of Corruption, you have the Advocate of Corruption, and then the boss deals quite a bit of damage, you know. It's charming one of your heroes to deal damage. So basically, the Queen inflicts Charmed on the enemy with the highest attack for 8 seconds. So right here, I have Dane with the highest attack, and he's going to attack my Adolphus. Adolphus is fairly tanky, I would say, in the gear that he has. Now, of course, I'm using legendary gear on most of my champions because this is something very end game, and by the time you get to this, you will have pretty much the same sort of gear if you haven't wasted your stamina, of course, and did some silly things during your progression. But we have Adolphus for shield, we have Dane for damage and to enable Sigrid, we have of course Frorbart just to tank, healing, decrease attack, and we have Witch's Remains just to enable Sigrid even more. Sigrid, decrease attack, healing reduction, just some old-fashioned damage, and of course we have a Hexandra for healing, guys. And this is the team that we have on. I've enabled the food, so let's crack on with the run. And the main reason why I'm manualing sometimes is just to make sure I have the decrease attack down at the right moment. Okay, so basically that's why I'm doing it. It is pretty hard, how I mentioned. It's more challenging than the others. And you do have to be spot on with what you're doing to kind of like decide when to use the skills, you know? If you're not doing that, you will most probably encounter issues and you're not going to be able to defeat this boss. Personally, I struggle quite a bit on this stage till I managed to get it organized, you know? And the reason why I'm doing the extra effort to manual this is because it gives me 1,400 plus pages for a run weekly, and you only have to do it once a week. Okay, so it's not that bad, and because of it, I find it pretty important. You know, like we gotta be able to purchase the scrolls. They're pretty rare all around, and I don't want to mess around with that, basically. You know, so this is the damage dropping. Of course, Sigrid drops more damage than Dane generally, and what I tend to do is to keep an eye on the debuff bar here at the top, and when needed, just to keep Sigrid's skill on cooldown. Like right now, I am not using it, but as soon as I'll be passing on the boss right here from the second skill, the battle skill, basically, that's when I would drop the decrease attack, like right now. Because Frorbart, for example, will always turn back. Dane will always turn back to the back minions to land the debuff, so they won't attack the boss. And if I don't have decrease attack on the boss, which constantly gets stacks of increased attack, of increased damage, we're gonna be in trouble. You know, we're gonna get wrecked. And it might take me 1, 2, 3 tries. It really depends, honestly. Some of these minions that are spawned at the back, like the pores, they will explode. So that's the main reason why you don't want to have your champions positioned at the backside, because when they explode, they deal damage on the area, okay? Splash damage, basically. And that will kill some of your champions, especially if they have 2 pores close to each other. So you gotta be very, very careful with that as well. So Sigrid doing her job there. We have decreased attack. It's going to last for longer, hopefully, than the boss's. Whew, that was unfortunate. Sigrid used the ultimate right before, and you see how low it got me. The boss is actually pretty dangerous. But we are like 50% down on the HP with this team. So positioning is key, guys. The number one thing. Then of course having a champion that will bring a shield, very, very important. And having some AoE damage to kill the back spores or whatever mobs are spawning, because you have spiders, you have different things coming there, is very, very, very important, guys. So I'm gonna enable Sigrid in about 5 seconds. I would prefer to have some of the debuffs before, so I deal some damage at the back there with Sigrid. There we go. We managed to kill a spider. We got more ultimate energy. We have the decreased attack on the boss. The shield is at a minimal for some of the champions there. There you go, Sigrid just going crazy, you know? A minimal shield. The shield is minimum there. I can't speak anymore. I'm losing it, you know? But so far, we're doing very well. Now, of course, the higher the stack on the boss, the more damage we'll deal. So we gotta be careful with that. We cannot bring in our champions very squishy here. So you see these spores at the back, these explode and they'll splash damage to your heroes. So if they're next to them, they are very, very likely to die, you know, and you definitely want to avoid that at all costs. There we go. Sigrid, we can let her go on full auto here. She can put a decreased attack. Make sure we are safe. And you see, I don't really manual a lot to be like, okay, I could potentially change this to do it on the presets and have the time to use the skill at a specific moment. But the problem with that is Sigrid won't use her ultimate on and on and on and on and kill the back minions, come back to the boss to deal damage and do this run faster. Because that will stop her from using the ultimate. And that's why I prefer to come in here, keep an eye on the run for 5 minutes. That's how much it takes you. Get the job done, basically, and get maximum rewards from this run, you know? And look at that. Beautiful. Sigrid, hopefully she will have the ultimate right about now or kill the boss before that. There we go. Decrease attack and job done, basically. And this boss doesn't revive, doesn't come back on a different form. Is as simple as this. But it is pretty hard to get it organized. Of course, positioning, how I mentioned, was a tricky one till I just played around with different ways on how to put the champions around. And then how to kind of like control Sigrid and the rest. So we got 1,000 legendary poems, okay? That's actually pretty good. 1,600 will be very helpful to allow me to purchase a legendary scroll and put it in my legendary heroes, or purchase the epic ones, of course. But let me quickly show you the builds on my champions. And you've noticed we haven't used any legendaries whatsoever. And I do have quite a few available that could potentially just wreck the boss. But I prefer to go with different champions just to be something more easy for you guys to build as well. So we have Dane, one of my most favorite epic champions. Probably you're hearing me talking about this bad boy all the time. He just does so much, man. And I have him built on an executioner set. Total stats on him: 50k HP, 1.4k defense, 3.8k attack, 94 crit rate, 138 crit damage, 194 accuracy. Of course, we use the food to give us 15 more accuracy. And you've seen for the boss was saying I need roughly around 270 accuracy or so. And I was low quite a bit. But you know what? It helped me to have that food on and just to have slightly higher accuracy on Sigrid, because she was the one putting a decreased attack on the boss mainly. And of course, I had Flurbart with higher accuracy, but we're going to get to that in just a second. I have the Eyeball of the Giant on him to give me more damage on the ultimate. So he was doing a lot of AoE damage, basically, at the back minions together with Sigrid. I had a crit damage rune, and I had an accuracy negative rune on him. The next champion that we used in here, guys, was no one else but Frorbart. He is built on an Ancestral Protection set, so basically it gives a bit of damage reduction. And total stats on him, we have 79k HP, 4k defense. I have 340 accuracy, so I have quite a bit of accuracy on him to do the job. And I have Witch's Remains, which has a chance to land defense down AoE. If you don't have this, just use, for example, the Crown of the Unclean, or you can even use the Scarab if you don't have issues with the accuracy on him, you know. Then, of course, we had Sigrid. She is on an Executioner set as well. Total stats on my Sigrid, 56k HP, 1.4k defense, 3.2k attack. You see, I actually gave her quite a bit of tankiness. 96 crit rate, 119 crit damage, 186 accuracy. Actually, I didn't have that much more of an accuracy on her either compared to Dane. For whatever reason, I thought that I did. I'm running the Spiritual Incense Burner on her. This gives her more ultimate energy once she's using the ultimate skill, but the main reason why I had this is to get that extra accuracy and extra HP on the champion, and of course the ultimate energy helps quite a bit. Then I had HP rune. I didn't have a crit damage or an attack. I want her to be tanky to survive. If she dies, you're gonna have to retry it, of course. Then I had an accuracy one. I wish I would have had a nicer legendary accuracy one to use on her, but unfortunately I don't. Then, of course, we had no one else but Hexandra. She is on a double set, basically. So we have a Holy Hunter set on her. Then we have the Granite Wheel, which is still epic. But I have resistance on her. I'm using her in the Ancient Battlefield. That's why I have resistance. You don't need the resistance for this boss because it's not really debuffing you. Total stats on her, guys. We have almost 60k HP, 2.6k defense. I do have 47 Enlightenment. I dropped a lot of the Enlightenment on her to get the resistance, so her A2 is not as strong. But I have 278 resistance. And how I mentioned, you do not need the resistance for this boss, okay? No resistance needed. Then I have the Mirror of the Living, is only at level 8, this one. I have a HP rune, resistance rune here. And I have the last champion that I used, which is Adolphus. I've been using this champion for a very long time. I've seen that now a lot of people started to show him some love. I was meant to do a champion spotlight on him as well, but I'll be doing it at some point in the near future. He's just the GOAT when we're talking about shields. I'm using him in my Vortex. I'm using him in a lot of content. I have him built, unlike the others, on a Radiance set. He basically gets a bit of a healing when he's using the ultimate skill. And he does need a lot of Enlightenment, guys. The more Enlightenment, the bigger the shield, okay? So, total stats on him, 43k HP. The HP is pretty low. 2.5k defense, 458 Enlightenment. And I have a bit of skill haste. That's just gonna allow me to use the skills maybe 2-3% faster than usual. I have, of course, the Antinias Tiara on him to give me more Enlightenment and increase the value of shield that he's proccing by 15%. And this is the Rune Enlightenment. And I have a defense one here just to get him a bit tankier. I always want to call these runes amulets. I don't know why. Maybe from Raid. But this is the build, guys. That's how you're defeating the boss, okay? And that's how you're going to get the pages. If you head over back to Exchange, check this out. Now I'm at 4,440. Stage 1 is fine as well. You are getting in between 500 and 700 pages. But stage 2 is where you want to be, guys. From 1,200 all the way to 1,800 based on the RNG. Of course, you're getting more Affinity Solvent. But you want to do the highest stage possible to purchase more scrolls, okay? That's the whole thing. If you enjoyed the content, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.